the dragon? Oh, it's gone.
And he's really
Wow.
far out of position.
Yeah, that's a big thing. You know, spending all that time down there does look like the harass from CounterLogic is going to be enough just to semi-interrupt this, just trying to buy time for Graves to get up here. Zuna has no fear going in here. He's like, oh, there's a mandatory cloud. That's okay. Here we go. The big fight. Zuna with the ultimate. The blue team does get the Baron, and Falls just has to really get on out of dodge. He's not doing so good, but he is going to be able to land a lot of flak there onto Link. It does look like Rumble able to pick up a kill, but Zuna, he has blood in his eyes. Balls is going to be going down. Rainman, unless you can flash over that, which he will, and he barely gets out of it. But Morgana, I mean, she's a big terror right now. She's able to pick up a kill as well. Maybe even able to get Sid. Nope.
No, not quite. That scrap shield is going to be a little bit too much. So I mean that was kind of an iffy trade. They did lose the team fight 3-2, but they did pick up an Oracle. They lost an Oracle. They picked up the Baron, which is essentially the equivalent of 5 free kills. It gives 300 gold to every player, not the extra assist gold that you would get if there was a big old team fight. But certainly I think that's an exchange that they will definitely take, being a team that's so focused around those AoE ultimates and that team fight. Now that they have 3 members still, or actually only 2 members still with that Baron buff, but it's 2 very key members, Morgana and Vladimir, who are going to be able to use that to great effect, and Dragon is still up. They now have a stronger position to be able to take that out. I don't necessarily know that they know Dragon is still up, but if they do head on down there and pick that up, it would be a great addition to their still global disadvantage. Even after taking down that Baron, they are still almost 3,000 gold behind, but it could be big. We do see kind of a comeback Baron, a quote-unquote comeback Baron for the team that is up. Ghost of Zuna wants to head down there, wants to pick it up now. Doesn't feel like the mTw.NA is in position to defend it, and they are absolutely right. Probably saw Rayman hanging around up top, and they have at least Cassiopeia and Malachi doing it, and everyone on their team is very close to being able to come in to help out for that dragon. So we see yet another dragon. I think that is 3 out of the 4 dragons going CLG Black's way, and despite the fact that they are 2 men with Baron down, they do have that disadvantage. I feel like they're in a comfortable position where they think they can still fight all these battles very well.
Just trying to do some quick math. 7 minutes for Baron, or sorry, not Baron. 6 minutes for the Dragon. By 4, that'd be 24. First one was about 10. I'm not too sure if we actually have had 4 dragons. So a dragon counter would come in handy, right? But 3 to 4 dragons either way. CLG Black up in the gold. They do have the majority of them. And I'm looking at the items now. I mean, we're about to hit the 35-minute mark, and this is still a pretty standard length. 2 teams going head-to-head. We're going to have to see if it turns into a slugfest. But at the same time, we got that Infinity Edge on Ezreal as well as that Trinity, and we're do got that Abyssal and almost that Rabadon's now for Morgana. It's just, I'm also looking at poor Rain Man, and he has Will of the Ancients. That's it. I mean, he's looking for the Rylai's, but...
And I'm actually uncertain what he's going to build into next. Has that Giant's Belt and the Blasting Wand, which looks like the components for Rylai's Crystal Scepter, but he also picked up that Ruby Crystal, which certainly is not an item you'd need for that combination. And now we see a Shirelli is used down middle. It doesn't look like it's going to be turned into anything, but they were excited about the opportunity to turn that into a battle that could potentially go their way. But now that they've got him back up against their tower, I don't think they want to have a team fight once again on the enemy's tower, despite those 2 Baron buffs. There is, that top lane turret that's, kind of just alone out there, and they could certainly make a fight happen around there, and now they're just going to camp in this brush. Oh, and Smithy might be able to catch someone out here.
Nah,
nope, once again.
Yeah. Both
excellent Shirelias.
They double Shirelia'd out of it, looking at the item tab.
Yep, they did, and it looks like about at the exact same time, so they were running really, really fast to get away, did not want to get engaged upon, and now mTw.NA, like as mentioned before, heading towards that top lane. Yep, looks like they're just going to tank it. They do have enough damage and enough defense. Ball is actually tanking it and not muffing Cutie, but he'll be able to lifesteal some of that damage back. Oh my goodness, and yet another attempted base race here. Looks like mTw.NA will back off. They're all recalling, but how fast are they going to be able to take down this turret? Hoodstomp doing quite a bit of damage to it with that Phantom Dancer.
He's chunking it pretty well there, but they are going to back off. They did see that Malphite, and Malphite's a very scary tank at this point. Look at that. He did upgrade to the Randuins as well as that Frozen Heart, so his job goes straight for that Graves, shut him down. I mean, that's literally what he's built for here. He's not really too afraid of anyone else. But on the flip side, what I thought was going to be an Abyssal's for Cass is now turned into a Quicksilver. Well, I shouldn't say now. It's been there for a bit. And now she also has that Void Staff. We don't really have a lot of magic resist, you know, in and around the place, but that Void Staff is just going to make her poison hit that much harder.
Yeah, it's actually kind of surprising how little magic resist is on mTw.NA, considering they're going against a very strong double AP comp against two people that actually were really successful in lane. So Malphite hasn't really built any magic resist items outside of those Merc Treads. Vladimir did to just survive through the laning period, but Morgana only has that Abyssal. Ezreal has nothing, and Leona actually only has that Shurelya's Reverie and Merc Treads built, along with that Heart of Gold, so it's incredibly tanky. That Void Staff, I don't know that it's premature, as it's always a good item to pick up. Certainly helps you do incredible amounts of damage, but you know, it's against a lineup that doesn't have a ton of magic resist as of yet.
Well, we're gonna get some black onto Zuna, but at the same time, he throws down the ultimate. We do have a slight window until it comes back up, but you know, with the team 5-on-5. I'm pretty sure the Baron's now done. Yeah, looking at Morgana, it's totally toast, and it does look like a little bit of a siege. Oh, here comes the Shurelya's. We're going to go for the stun. Does not grab anyone, but a slow come out from Mandatory Cloud. Oh, Muffin Cutie is going to get denied with that Zenith Blade, the flash coming out from Zuna. And now it's like, okay, our turn. We're just going to push you right back. And we're going to settle in for a little bit of a siege here.
Yeah, they've been playing a really interesting cat and mouse game where it seemed like mTw.NA was on the aggressive for the longest time, and then CLG Black was like, actually, we're going to push your bottom turret now, and we're going to be on the aggressive here. You know, I think they're still afraid of those combinations of ultimates, but now that Leona's Solar Flare is down, oh, there we go.
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, Cassiopeia just throwing in everything. Look at the Wish, and well with the Iron Locket coming out, they are going to be saving the entirety of the team. Okay, that's it. Like Cassiopeia going down, but they're going to be able to trade this for 4 for 1, 3 for 1. Wow, Leona got out of that?
Barely, just barely. Had to flash right at the last second. It was a pretty good escape, but still a really bad fight. Just such incredible damage coming down from that Cassiopeia, and a great initiate just with that Petrifying Gaze. And of course, Muffin Cutie's Solar Flare now just coming up. So certainly that earlier, failed engage did hurt them. And now Mandatory Cloud kind of cut out here. Going to have to use Azonius. Not going to be able to escape. Not from those four. So really, CLG Black doing a great job, and we saw such a good game from mTw.NA last time, and this game has been so much more close, and I really thought their AoE ultimates were going to do such great work, but so far they have not been able to, and really, I feel like if Hoodstomp on Graves picks up a Guardian Angel, it's going to be so ridiculously hard to kill him. He does have 3,700 gold in the bank. It looks like they're going to be able to pick up this Baron with no trouble at all. So he's going to have over 4,000 gold when he heads back to base. And he, can certainly pick up a defensive item. Probably has enough to afford a Bloodthirster, but we'll see which route he chooses. Is he going to go for that full offensive, or is he going to go a little bit defensive? And the Solar Flare lands, but it's just not enough to steal that Baron. And we also had the ultimate coming in from Bulls, but just not quite enough. Good takedown there by CLG Black. So now they have Baron. Everything's kind of going well for them. An 8,000 gold lead, and they all have a lot of money in the bank that they're about to spend. So I'm intrigued to see what items they might purchase.
It hasn't exactly been like a huge control game out of Counter Logic Black, but now transitioning more into a late game or ultra late game for if we go another 10 minutes. They are really showing the team comp, the damage, the coordination. I mean, 4 for 1 in that exchange. Sure, we lost our Cassiopeia, but she's going to be singled out pretty much every single time. That's why we do got that Quicksilver Sash. And again, like looking at the build of Soraka, like we got the Infuse, we got the Wish, and now the Iron Locket. I mean, that was a huge proponent to only losing one teammate in that last fight. And as you say, we got a Baron. These next team fights are not going to be going in mTw's favor. I mean, they're not done. They're not giving up. 15-10, all you got to do is just ace the enemy team. You'll be right back into the game. But it's a little easier said than done.
Yeah, a little easier said than done. Interesting pickups. You were just mentioning the Locket of Iron Solari. I'm not a big fan of that item, but Soraka's been using it so well, and now Malachi picked up one of his own, and we see Graves, instead of, picking up a Guardian Angel, which I feel like would really secure this game, picked up a Trinity Force, but who did pick up a Guardian Angel was Cassiopeia. Link is like, oh, you know what? I've been killed every single team fight. I am the only one on my team dying. I am 0-4, even though I'm doing great work and initiating these team fights with my ultimate. I'm tired of dying and, planning to stay alive in this next upcoming battle. So I actually had to sell boots, too, to afford the Guardian Angel, but does now have it, and hopefully will not die once again. It looks like middle turret is going to go down. They're going to have to just give up this inhibitor, I feel like. They're just a little bit too afraid, and Morgana is not in a position to defend it at this present time.
Yeah, I can't help but feel that, the destruction of Rain Man top has really contributed to this. I mean, Rumble's been an absolute monster this game. He's 515, 250 creeps, and I was just looking at the gold, I think it's 3,000 gold. Yeah, a clean 3,000 gold ahead of Vladimir, and the only real person to challenge him gold-wise on the enemy team is Ezreal, who's 454 and 350 creeps. Like, man, we're about to hit the 400 creep mark in a 40-minute game. That's pretty nuts. But it's an underwhelming performance. It seems from the Rayman compared to Psycho Sid, and Psycho Sid is just developing so many more opportunities for CLG to capitalize on.
Yeah, absolutely. And Psycho Sid played great all game long. Did actually miss an equalizer earlier in lane. I think he probably could have killed Vladimir one or two more times up there in top lane, but has been so stellar in these late game team fights. And we see, whoa, that is a good initiation.
Yeah, check out Mandatory Cloud going balls deep right into there. Gets off the ultimate. They are going straight for Hood Stomp, but the return damage is just immense. Mithy not able to get the kill. Rain Man eventually able to just jump in there with his pool, but still, we had to dive through the enemy team to go grab Hood Stomp, who eventually did drop to a 5-man pressure, but the price that mTw is going to pay is probably the game.
Yep, it will be the game. The GGs are going out. That was an incredible job of keeping Hood Stomp alive for as long as they did. Heals were used at the last second. The Lockets of Iron Solari were both procced by both Soraka and Maokai, keeping them up just that little bit longer. So stellar job keeping them alive long enough that they could clean up the other three members from mTw.NA, and a good showing by CLG Black. This will be game. Will they catch out Muffin Cutie in the end? No, they're just going to finish it off. No padding of the stats. Cassiopeia, man, that is an unfortunate game. When you're the middle AP carry, when you're doing such stellar work, did good in lane, in those team fights, was great at initiating and counter-initiating, and ends up 0-4 and 10. Even after they buy that Guardian Angel, wasn't even allowed to pick up a kill. Soraka, meanwhile, 2-1 and 15. That is certainly a more impressive scoreline, but just great job by Link, even though the scoreboard does not reflect it.
Well, to even put that into more perspective, 2-1-15 means 17 of 18 kills she was part of.
Yes, yeah, she was part of just about everything that was going well, but not getting any of, Soraka was certainly part of everything that was going well. Cassiopeia, I feel, was there for all the essential portions as well, just not getting any of the glory. It's nice to see Soraka's getting a good scoreline and such great use of those Lockets of Iron Solari. People in chat are like, how did they lose that? That was a perfect engage. It was an incredible engage by Morgana, but there was just so much damage reduction from Maokai, so much damage soak from those Lockets of Iron Solari, so much healing from Soraka. They were just able to turn everything around, and of course they also had that Baron buff, so that was pretty huge on their part to have that extra buff, giving those extra stats, and able to take the game down. Not an incredibly high killing or high death game, 18-11, but regardless, a great job and a dominant performance from mid-game on from CLG Black.